Hello, everybody. Welcome. Just imagine that you are in the wedding of your best friend, and the one who is supposed to, let's say, do the speech just got sick, and you are there. You are the one who should do the speak, and you ask yourself, what storytelling framework should I really use? You have hundreds of millions of storytelling frameworks, but you don't remember which one to use. So today I will share with you the one and only storytelling framework that you should use and remember. Why? Because it's very easy. Because in the framework, there is story in the framework. And as far as I know today, that's the only storytelling framework that I know. So stick until the end. And by the end of this video, I'm sure that you will be a better storyteller. Be it you are a business leader, a parent like me, a part-time dot creator. Without further ado, let's jump into the intro. Yes, so let's go now and start the presentation that I prepared and I am ready to share with you. Let me just jump to the presentation here and let's go.
You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the very dirt, but still like dust, I'll rise. Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you beset with gloom? Just because I walk as if I have oil wells pumping in my living room. Just like moons and like suns with the certainty of tides, just like hope springing high, still I rise. Did you want to see me broken, bowed head and lowered eyes, shoulders falling down like teardrops, weakened by my soulful cries? Does my sassiness upset you? Don't take it so hard just because I laugh, as if I have gold mines digging in my own backyard. You can shoot me with your words, you can cut me with your lies, you can kill me with your hatefulness, but just like life, I rise. Does my sexiness offend you? Oh. Does it come as a surprise that I dance as if I have diamonds at the meeting of my thighs? I rise. A black ocean leaping and wide, welling and swelling and bearing in the tide. Leaving behind nights of terror and fear, I rise. Into a daybreak miraculously clear, I rise. Bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave. I am the hope and the dream of the slave. And so, wow. There I go.
Wow. I don't know how you felt about this, but for me, Maya Angelou is like a star for me in terms of poetry, spoken word, and storytelling. Let's jump right into the presentation now and see what we have in the plate
You may
today.
write me down in history.
So let me just click here. My first live stream since a long time ago, so I'm a little bit rusted. Okay, so now we are here, and so what I want to share with you today, it's a storytelling framework, which is called Storytap, as you can see here, and it's really very easy, interesting. And in this presentation, by the end of this presentation, you will know how to use this storytelling framework. And I'm sure that you will have many opportunities with the holiday season and the new year coming and all the opportunities that you will have to be able to use this storytelling framework. So, what is Storytap? That's a great question. I'm glad that you asked. So, I like this movie from M. Night Shyamalan, Trap, because really the aim of Storytrap is to make you avoid the story trap. So it's like kind of I call it a storyception, but you get it, storyception, because in the framework of Storytap you have story. That's also kind of in the Lord of the Rings TV show. I mean, the TV show, but also more the trilogy. You have the One Ring to hold them all. If there is one ring for storytelling, it is Storytap. Prove me wrong in the comment section below. Okay, so next. So this is me when I was, let's say, very young, as you can see here. Let me just see where I have it. Okay, this is me here with my very nice face, as you can see. Then after, this is me 40 years after here. You can see the smile of the Beluga XL here. It was a family day in visiting Airbus sites. And I think for me, this is really what triggered my need for stories, meaning how can I capture the way I'm living today and how can I share it with my kids. It's really important for me to be able to share those stories with my kids. And that's why I really jumped into storytelling. So what I did there is the first, let's say, letter of Storytrap, which is the S, as set the stage. So what I did here is hook you with the introduction from Maya Angelou, and I told you also why it should be relevant to you to be in the storytelling, let's say, activities or storytelling, framework. So as set the stage, this is where really you kind of paint a picture of the world in which you will evolve. Your story will evolve. It's like if you take a movie, this is the opening scene, sorry, I'm French. So this is the opening scene, and this is where you have a kind of a wide shot establishing where the action will happen. Then after, I don't know if you have seen this curve. It has been, let's say, very I not say viral. It went viral, I think, like Bag of 24. And here you can see, if you look closer, you can see all the different, let's say, times we spent with alone with our partners, with family, etc. And this is really important if you are wondering what is, let's say, midlife crisis, I think. So for me, this is really what midlife crisis look like. I'm here in the middle here. I'm 40 years old. I'm ish 40 years old. Yes, I know. Sometimes I look like I have 25 years, but as the saying goes, black don't crack. Okay, so it's really important to see this and to understand midlife crisis and why for me it's important to be able to connect with my family, my kids, and also to my communities, and to be able to share my stories and to help other people also share their stories, because I think in a very connected world where we are today, it's really important to be able to connect with other people and to be able to share our stories. And you can see this curve which is increasing as we go, meaning that really it's important to share stories, because we will spend more time alone in the coming years in midlife crisis. So what I did there is trigger a need, as T has trigger a need. Basically, it's saying that, okay, now that I have set the scene, I need to trigger something so that I can go into adventure. So really triggering the need is like, if it is a customer journey, this is where, for example, you share the pain points of your customer. If it is, for example, on a workplace, this is where really you tell why your project have to solve this kind of issues in the organization. And we will also use in the coming, let's say, sessions, I will share with you how you can use Storytap for internal reflection. So really here, T has triggers the need. Let's move to the next one. So here is one of the animated series which is called Rick and Morty. And I will share, let's say, one of the origin stories of the Storytap circle.
The so-called story circle is my attempt to remove all of the hard and repeated work from the task of causes them to go across a threshold where the story changes direction. They go down a road of trials, searching for something. They find it, whether they like it or not. It kind of kicks their ass, and they come back to the world they started in, having changed. You need to go search for something, find it, take it, and then return changed.
Yes, in a nutshell, this is really one, let's say 50% of the origin of the Storytap, let's say, framework. I stole, let's say, the story circle from Dan Harmon because I think he's one of the great storytellers building character arcs in many, let's say, shows, TV shows, animated series, and also many other movies. So let's say half of the Storytap framework is coming from Dan Harmon's story circle. And the other half, you ask, this is a great question. The other half is coming from another, let's say, animated series that I like, which is called South Park. So let's see why this is important.
Each individual scene has to work as a kind of funny sketch. You don't want one scene that's just like, well, what was the point of that scene? We've found out this really simple rule. We can take these beats, which are basically the beats of your outline, and if the words "and then" belong between those beats, you're f***ed. In between every beat that you've written down is either the word "therefore" or "but," right? So what I'm saying is that you come up with an idea and it's like, okay, this happens, right? And then this happens. No, it should be this happens, and therefore this happens. But this happens, therefore this happens. And that, as soon as we are able to, and literally sometimes we'll write it out to make sure we're doing it. We'll have our beats and we'll say, okay, this happened, but then this happens, and that affects this, and that does to that, and that's why you get a show that feels like, okay, this to that, to this to that, but this, here's the complication, to that.
Okay, so the other half is really the therefore, but from South Park creators, as they explain. So basically, you have the therefore, which like you say, okay, this happened, therefore, so you connect in the consequence of the action. So there is like an action going on, there is cause, consequence. So you put the word therefore in your storytelling. And then after, you surprise, let's say, the audience by saying but. By saying but, you are doing a kind of a redirection. Like what, let's say, stand-up comedians, they do that. I did improv comedy. You have the setup, and then after you have the story, and then you have, let's say, where you flip the script and you surprise your audience. So really using the therefore but is a great way to have kind of like in real life when there is an action and that action has consequences which move, let's say, the action, your story forward. So really something very important to keep in mind by using this structure, therefore, but. Okay, then after. So I combine those two, let's say, storytelling frameworks. Basically, I stole them because, as Steve Jobs said, the great mind, they steal. So I stole, let's say, the story circle from Dan Harmon. I stole also the, let's say, narrative structure from South Park with therefore, but, and I combine those two in one single new framework adapted to what I wanted to tell, which is the Storytap framework. So basically, that's Storytap in a nutshell. We have, let's say, the circle with Dan Harmon, which is, let's say, the narrative structure. And then after, to move things forward in a logical way that makes it, that makes sense. That's where I have put the therefore, but I will show you after how it is all articulated. Okay, so what I did there is that once I have, let's say, set the stage, I have triggered a need, explaining to you why I needed to be into storytelling. Then after here, I, let's say, offer the solution. The solution that I offered is not the how, it's more the why. This is where really you, in the offer solution, this is where you share your big idea. It's really important that you share your big idea. You share more the why really, and the how we will share it after in the step number 5. Here we are in step number 3. Okay, let's move then to step number 4. And here I see you saying, okay, Mad, there are so many storytelling framework and you are adding a new one. Okay, you are saying it's simple, but what makes your storytelling framework different? Will I remember it when I wake up like at 3 a.m. and I have to tell a story? Maybe, maybe not. I'm not sure. And then after, there are too many options, and maybe you are a victim of, let's say, analysis paralysis, or as I like to call it, Netflix paralysis, because you have too many choices and you don't know which one, let's say, to choose. So what I did here is that I reveal obstacles, meaning that, okay, I have shared my storytelling framework first. Okay, that's great. Then after, I share with you, let's say, the obstacles. In every story, it's really important, and I will re-emphasize it, it's really important to have obstacles, because only those obstacles can, let's say, make your story more interesting, give more contrast, make it also more authentic and realistic. I mean, every story of someone who, let's say, wake up and is given everything and has no, let's say, adventure, no setbacks, no roadblocks is kind of boring. So no one wants this kind of boring stuff. It's really important to make sure that in every story that you are telling, you are creating some conflict, because that conflict will force, let's say, the main character in your story will force them to change. And if you have to remember two things in a story, the first thing is conflict, and the second thing is change. If there is no conflict and no change, your story is mainly boring. I'm sorry to tell you that, but that's the way it is. Okay. And maybe you are saying, okay, who is this random guy on the internet trying to sell us his new, let's say, storytelling framework? What is the proof, the social proof that he knows what he's talking about? So I will just share with you the different platform that I'm on today, that you can go and follow me if you want. And if you like this video so far, make sure to hit the like button. Okay. But if you don't like it also, you can hit the unlike button. Both of them work. Okay. So coming back to the presentation, I am on LinkedIn. I have created a newsletter, which is called A Grio's Life Advice Stories. A griot is like in African culture, it's like very traditional, let's say, not written language. So most of the, let's say, the memory of the tribe, of the village, is something that all the stories of the village are stories, let's say, told by the griot. So the griot is kind of a living Wikipedia of the story. So that's why we say in Africa, when an old person dies, it's like a library is burned, because those people have many knowledge in their head. So a griot is someone who is, let's say, a griot 4.0 for me is really someone who is connecting, let's say, tradition to technology. I'm using live streaming today to be able to share stories. I'm using also social media like LinkedIn, Medium, or Substck. You can find me there. And all those mediums are really here to be kind of a new version of a griot, new version of capturing stories and sharing them so that they can become, let's say, our shared memories. So as I was saying, I have a newsletter on LinkedIn with more than 1,000 subscribers. On Medium, I have written more than 200 stories, as you can see here. And I have accumulated more than close to 600 now, let's say 580 followers. So I have been sharing stories for the last 5 years, writing on a weekly basis. So I have the experience to say, okay, this is the proof that I am a storyteller. I have built an audience. I have, let's say, shown you that I am, let's say, the real deal when it comes to storytelling. You don't have to take my word for it. You can go and check for yourself to see, let's say, what is my authority on this field. Why should you, let's say, take what I'm sharing here in order to use it on your daily life? So, the one single secret of storytelling is to use only one framework. I know it sounds counterintuitive because each time I go to LinkedIn, every day I see, let's say, a new storytelling framework. So it's really important that in your story, if you have one story, you have one message. And for one message, you should always use one structure, one storytelling framework. Okay. And then after that structure, you have really to master it. If you are changing, let's say, a storytelling framework each day based on what is popular or viral on LinkedIn, you will never, let's say, master your storytelling framework. So it's really important to use one structure to tell 10,000 stories. I like quotes, and I have shared some with you since the beginning of this live stream. And really, I will, let's say, share this one from Bruce Lee, and he said, "I fear not, the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once. I fear the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times." So it's really doing your reps that is important. You have really to do your reps, meaning that you should take one storytelling framework. It can be Storytap. I'm curious if you use Storytap. Maybe you can share your story on social media. You can tag me on LinkedIn, Medium, or Substck. I will be really happy to see how you use, let's say, this storytelling framework. So it's really important to do your reps. And thank you for sharing, let's say, your Storytap stories with me by tagging me on different social media platforms. Just before we continue, I have to shout out to a friend who is following me on LinkedIn. So Benur Kabengele. So Benur, thank you very much for supporting me. You are always showing up. So Benur is a friend from Paris, with whom we have created, let's say, a club, an Afropean club, which is called Club Kesho. And you can find us also on LinkedIn and on YouTube. So make sure to go check, let's say, also check Benur, let's say, LinkedIn profile and follow him on different social media platforms. He's a great guy, and you will enjoy traveling the world with him because he's always traveling the world, making an impact, and sharing also his stories by sharing pictures and some let's say a very short text. And I think Benur is a very great storyteller, even maybe he doesn't call himself a storyteller. So Benur, thank you very much. I will try to make the hearts with my laptop if I can. Okay. Wow, you see. Thank you, Mac. Okay, thank you very much, Benio. So I propose that we continue, let's say, the presentation. So remember, one storytelling framework, 10,000 stories. Then after, you can change your storytelling framework if you want. So what I did there is I kind of eliminated the path. So this is the step number 5 on storytelling. So this is where really in the step number 3, where you are offering a solution, it was more, let's say, you give your why, okay? So the step number 3 of our solution, you are giving your why. And here is where you give, let's say, the how. For example, in step 3, you presented your big idea. And then here, this is where really you will tell people how they will get to that big idea. So this is really important. To eliminate the path is really to show, don't tell. So this is what I did by sharing, let's say, my social proof that I have shared many stories. I have learned a lot in the past 5 years, and that is why I'm here today sharing with you and really providing also the how by, for example, sharing with you that it's really important to have one storytelling framework and to use that one single storytelling framework until you master it 10,000 times. Okay, so let's watch this video and let me know if you guess what the T stand for in the comment section below.
They follow each other on the window, 'cause they got nowhere to go. That's why no one got to know. I'm starting with the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his way, and no message could have been any clearer. If you wanna make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and make a change. Somebody's broken heart and a washed out dream. They follow the pattern of the wind you see, 'cause they got no place to be. That's why I'm starting with me. I'm starting with the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways. No message could have been.
Wow, okay, I could dance all day for this. So I have seen something on LinkedIn and I will show it. Unfortunately, it said LinkedIn user, so transformation. So congratulations if you the person who said that. So indeed, it is T as transformation. So it's really important in a story, when you are telling a story, to have some kind of transformation in your story. The transformation is important because at the beginning, let's say you set the stage, you have, let's say, you trigger a need to go on the journey, and then after you offer a solution, and you reveal obstacles, and you show, let's say, how to get there. And it's really important in your story to have a transformation. If you are a leader, for example, this is where, let's say, you paint a vivid picture of the future you want to see in your organization, and really to embark, let's say, your employees, your colleagues, to show them really how the future will look like if they go through this transformation journey. This is really something that is really very, very, very important. So, Gregory, thank you very much for sharing, and congratulations to you. I will try to do double this with my laptop to see if it works like this, maybe. Yeah, it's working. Yeah, so thank you very much, Gregory, for winning, let's say, this game. All I have to give you is thank you for being here with us this evening, and let's say for sharing this time with me. I hope that you are enjoying the session so far. Thank you very much. So transformation is something that is really very important. This is where, let's say, you paint a vision of the future, and this is where really you connect the dots. Connecting the dots meaning that you have told your audience where you want to go. This is, let's say, you offer them a solution. You have revealed the obstacle, and you have given them all the steps that they need to go there. Then now you have really to paint for them what it will look like, so that they can really go in that journey with you. Here, it is important to tell stories. Sometimes we want to wait, say, okay, I don't have any story to tell. If you want also some tips on how to, let's say, have stories, you can create what is called a story bank. A story bank is very easy. It's really each day you have at the end of the day. Me, I do it through journaling, but you can do it really also, let's say, by using an app. You can use WhatsApp on your phone. Did you know that you can message yourself in WhatsApp? So this is something that I do when I find something interesting on the web. I just share it, and in WhatsApp you can share a message with yourself. And this is a kind of a way, let's say, to collect information. You can also use, personally, I use Google Keep. This is where really I kind of have collect all my ideas. So what you can do that I'm not doing for the moment, but that I should do also, is each day you sit at the end of the day, you just try to do a replay of your day, and you ask yourself, what is the story-worthy moment of today? Just one thing, one story per day. It's really very easy and very important. You write the story title, a short description. You write also the emotion you felt during that moment, that story. Because that's, and then after, maybe at the end of the year, you will have 365 stories that you can go pick from if you want to do a presentation. You have, let's say, the story bank. So this is really something important. I'm not doing it every day for the moment. I'm doing it now and then. But if you can find, let's say, ways to build your story bank, it's something that is great, because then after you have to start telling your story, because every story for each of us is important. So I will let just someone tell it with more, let's say, vivid words.
Do it! Just do it! Don't let your dreams be dreams. Yesterday, you said tomorrow, so just do it! Make your dreams come true! Just do it! Some people dream of success while you're gonna wake up and work hard at it. Nothing is impossible. You should get to the point where anyone else would quit, and you're not gonna stop there. No, what are you waiting for? Do it! Just do it! Yes, you can! Just do it!
Each time I lack motivation, I just watch this video of Shia LaBeouf. Now, I know this is very extreme, sorry. But it's important to never postpone things. When we want to do things, to just start doing things now. So I really invite you to create your story bank, and also to start telling your stories. You can start in a very small area. Maybe it's with your kids, your parents, your friends. Start telling a short story, just one, in a very safe environment, and you can pick whatever framework is easy for you to remember. Me, I like Storytap because there is story on it, and I can just write the letters and then write what each letter means, and I try to fit, let's say, my story on that framework. So it's really important that you do it, and you have to do it today. So what I did there is, once I have embarked you on that journey, and once I have done everything, now it's, let's say, it's your turn. This is something really important, because when you tell a story to an audience, and then after you say, okay, now I'm going, bye-bye. It's really important to tell them why you are telling them that story. Is because you want them to change, to take action, to do something for you or for the world, for humanity. So it's really important to have a very clear request. My request to you today is start telling your stories. Pick one framework, whatever framework works for you, that is easy to remember, and then create a story bank. You can use digital means. You can also use pen and paper, and just start writing your story worthy moment of the day. You have a bank of stories, and then try to do your 10,000 reps, as said by Bruce Lee, so that really you can tell more stories. And this is the only way for you to make a change in this world. So this is really important. So really do it now, because we never know, maybe you won't be there tomorrow. So it's really important for me, for example, to tell my stories, to document them, to share them with my kids, because I want them to hear what happened to me. Because as I was saying with Benio, we are what we call Afropeans. So we are both African and Europeans, because I come from Dakar, Senegal, and I have been living in France more than half of my life now. So I see myself, let's say, as on a small boat navigating between two shores. Let's say there is Africa in one side, there is Europe on the other side. I'm like trying to navigate between those two. And it's really important for me to share my story with my kids. That's really what drives me today to be able to create storytelling frameworks. And I also want to help each of you to tell your stories, because at the end, what will remember, what will, let's say, stay in people's mind, if not, let's say, your wealth, how many cars you have, how big was your house, is really the memories that you build together with people. That is the only lasting thing that will stay. So I just want to give a shout out to Gregory before we go. So okay, thank you very much, Gregory. I hope that you will find value in this video and that you will use the storytelling framework. I will share, let's say, the deck of slides in Substack. So make sure to subscribe to my Storytap newsletter on Substack. I will share the link here for those of you also who want, let's say, to connect. So you can see here, I'm a part-time creator of that. So if you scan this QR code that you can see below, you can directly be redirected to my Storytap, let's say, newsletter on Substack. Ancient plug, I will say. Okay, so let's go back to our presentation. So it's really important that you give to your audience a very simple, clear call to action. Then you have to make it urgent, because if you are telling them the story now, it's because they can do or they should do something now. Something has to change now. That's why you are sharing that story with them, to inspire them, to make them feel something so that they can take action. The action has to be very simple, easy to understand, and easy to act also upon. Let's watch another video.
When you start to document more stories in your life, it does more than just make you a great storyteller. It strengthens your identity. It strengthens who you are. When someone writes a comment and says, "Oh, Vin, you're a money-hungry piece of garbage," it doesn't hurt me, because I've got more than 50 stories in the last 2 years of how I was generous to those people around me who I love. I've got stories that back up that I'm a generous person. When you've got all these stories that back up who you are as a person, you don't fall for just everything. You become more grounded. People can't push you over. It's very difficult. I've got so many stories that back up who I am as a person. You can't hurt me with that.
Thank you very much, Vin. And if you are not following Vin also, I really encourage you to follow him, because I will share with you, let's say, the storytelling framework. And Vin, he's really going beyond. He's on the delivery part with, let's say, how you can use your voice, how you can really be present on stage, occupy the stage. So really, if you are not following him on LinkedIn, or you are not, let's say, subscribed to his YouTube channel, I really recommend you to do it, because it's really something great that he's teaching in terms of storytelling. So the P for the last P on Storytap is really for impact. Act, impact. This is really something that is really very important. So what you have to do is really to end on a high note. So end on a high note, maybe you can, let's say, resay your call of action. You can end with, let's say, a provoking question. Would you act now? What are you waiting for? And then after, you really have to create a long-lasting bond with your audience. For example, if it is something physical, at the end of your talk, maybe you will go discuss with people, have a coffee, and exchange, really build that connection beyond the stage. Because when you are on stage, you are sharing something with the audience. They are not interacting with you. It's kind of, even if you are connected emotionally, if you are a great storyteller, but it's still, let's say, a one-way street. Well, if you want to build a long-lasting impact, you really have to make, let's say, that connection a two-way street, so that you can connect with people, so that they can remember you. That's really something important. So creating a lasting bond. Yeah, exactly. So I will quote someone, an ex, a former, if not ex, a former FBI, let's say, negotiator. His name is Chris Ross. He has written a great book that I did not read yet. It's one on my to-read list, which is called "Never Split the Difference." That's why I put here Patricia from Split. If you did not watch the movie, I recommend that you watch it. From M. Night Shyamalan also. Like the loop is almost complete. And Chris is saying something that really is important when we are talking about lasting impact. And he said, we talk a lot about like the first impression is important, but also last impression is important. Why? Why is last impression important? It's because the last impression is the lasting impression. This is really something that is really important. So people will maybe remember the beginning of your interaction and also the end. In the middle, yeah, we don't really know what happens. That's why really when you are telling a story, the P as in the Storytap, the P stands for impact. You really have to take care of once you have done the call to action to make a long lasting impact. So here you have it. So Storytap, S as set the stage, T as trigger a need, O as offer a solution, R as reveal obstacle, Y, I as eliminate the path, T as transformation. Thank you, Gregory, for that. A as call to action, and P as impact. So then I talked about, let's say, the therefore but. So you can see also I have incorporated it in, let's say, in the framework of the storytelling. So you set your stage, but then you have to trigger a need. Therefore, because you have triggered a need, you offer a solution. But before you get to the solution, there are some obstacles. Therefore, you show me all the ways that I should take to, let's say, reach that destination. Because I have, let's say, walked the way to reach that destination, there is transformation. Therefore, transformation. But transformation is not enough. You have also to take action. Because you took action, therefore, there is a long-lasting impact. So this is really where I have stole those two ideas. I have merged them together to create, let's say, my own storytelling framework. And here you have it in a very nice circle. For sure, you can take a screenshot. You can follow me on Substck. I will share, or even on YouTube. I will share, let's say, more, let's say, ways of applying the Storytap framework in different situations in life. We are almost there. So one more thing. My next, let's say, my next session, live session with Storytap will be Storytap a deep dive. So here I have just scratched the surface, and in the next episode, within 2 weeks' time, so it will be the first live stream of 2025. I will share with you a more deep dive of all the steps of Storytap. So make sure to subscribe or to connect with me on LinkedIn or to subscribe to my YouTube channel, because then after you'll be notified each time I'm doing this kind of live stream. And here are, let's say, if you want to connect on LinkedIn, I'm open to connections. If you find value in what I'm doing, for sure. If not, you can still consume my content. It's for free. And also on Substack, I don't have any paid subscribers. All my content is free. So if also you want to, let's say, connect with me on Substack, because I will share then after the replay of this video, and I will share also the presentation that I shared with you today. So make sure to subscribe so that you will get notified, and you can have the source of material to be able really to start your storytelling journey. And I think all of this, maybe you have heard it before or maybe not. Why telling stories is important. I did not say it at the beginning, but I will say it here. Fact tells, stories sell. And what is important is the 22 that you can see here. So that's why I put like 22 Jump Street, because there is a psychologist, an American psychologist, who said, like, people remember stories 22 times better than facts alone. So you can tell me facts, okay, if it go into my head, but if you tell me stories, it go into my heart. Okay, so I will add also here, fact tell, but stories sell. Therefore, your story matters. Here again, I have added the structure, therefore, but. It's really important, but then after you can see the logic behind. And we will finish as we started with a quote from Maya Angelou. I am in love, let's say, in love in a way, saying that I like the work of Maya Angelou. People will forget what you said. People will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. So I hope that I made you feel pumped. I made you feel, let's say, curious. I made you feel wanting to tell your story today. And yeah, that's it today for this first live stream on the series about Storytap. So if you like this video so far, you can hit the like button. If you don't like it, you can also, let's say, use the other button. It works very well. And that's it for me today. Thank you very much for joining, for being with me here today. I do something like this, and I hope that it will work. Yeah, you see confettis. I can do the heart also. Okay, and thank you for that. And if really you like this video, you can hit the like button. If you don't like it, you can also use this one. It works very well. And that's it for me today. Thank you very much to Ben Nur and Gregory for being with me here today. I really appreciate your support and staying with me late in Toulouse, France, but maybe early in the US and other part of the world. I wish you a very, let's say, a very nice day, and I say to you, see you next time. Until then, keep telling your stories, keep sharing.